I warmly welcome everyone joining us today via the live stream. I am Simple Soni, podcasting staff at the Viyug and moderator of today's live forum. The Viyug is an esteemed online international affairs magazine based in India. Since 2020, we are delivering quality journalism focused on foreign affairs and politics to the public. This webinar is hosted by Center for Strategic Studies and Foreign Affairs CSSFA, which is the research and analytical wing of the View. It serves as our digital sanctuary by hosting all our research papers, publications, monographs, issue briefs, newsletters, and other resources published by the View. Today, our live forum will serve as a launching pad for the next research paper by CSSFA titled Vivek's Presidential Perspective on the Indo-Pacific Balancing Act, Navigating Strategic Ambiguity with Toughness and Pragmatism. The paper sheds light on the Indo-Pacific region's geopolitical and security juggernaut. It explains the US exit from Afghanistan, which was a huge setback for the country's vast Indo-Pacific interests. It also discusses the Sino-Russian nexus amid the Ukraine crisis along with Taiwan's strategic ambiguity. All these complex intricacies will now be explained directly by the author himself. I am elated to introduce Kondaraju Sandeep Royal, a research scholar based in Bengaluru and Hyderabad, specializing in international relations, geosecurity, and global happenings through the lens of history, economics, and politics. He holds a master's degree in international relations and politics from Pondicherry University and a bachelor's degree from Christ University. The author possesses a deep understanding of the complexities within the Indian and Chinese worldview, with research focusing on dissecting the intricate dynamics of military, politics, and diplomacy, providing insights into these crucial areas. He was also formerly associated with Chennai Center for China Studies, Nepal Institute of International Cooperation and Engagement, and Indian Political Action Committee. I once again warmly welcome you, sir, to address the event and present your paper. Over to you, sir.
Uh, Thank you for the wonderful introduction, Miss Simple Soni. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Am I visible?
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me an immense pleasure to extend my warmest greetings to each one of you. As we gather here today to delve into the intriguing and vital topic of Vivek presidential perspective on the Indo-Pacific Balancing Act, focusing on navigating strategic ambiguity with toughness and pragmatism. As the speaker at this event, I cannot contain my excitement for the opportunity by the Viyug to share my insights and perspectives on the critical subject that holds immense importance in today's ever-evolving world. In Indo-Pacific region, like with its dynamic geopolitical landscape, demands our utmost attention and strategic acumen. It is a complex balancing act, and in my presentation, I aim to emphasize the significance of navigating this arena with a combination of toughness and pragmatism. The concept of strategic ambiguity presents intriguing possibilities in this context, like how can we leverage this diplomatic approach to ensure pan-regional stability with pursuing national interests. Like this intriguing question will be at the core of our discussion today. Together we will explore the multifaceted nature of Indo-Pacific region, analyzing various challenges, opportunities, and potential paths towards maintaining equilibrium. I'm excited to share my perspective and engage in an exchange of ideas with all of you. Through this presentation, I hope to provide with valuable insights through thought perspective and understanding of the complex dynamics at play in the Indo-Pacific region. Our collective wisdom and collaboration will undoubtedly enrich this gathering and contribute a comprehensive understanding of this significant topic. Once again, I extend a heartfelt welcome to fellow experts, attendees, and guests. Let's embark on this journey together, armed with knowledge, open minds, and desire to explore the Indo-Pacific Balancing Act through the lens of ambiguity, toughness, and pragmatism. Like um, like zeroing on the today's topic, like Indo-Pacific region is an absolute geopolitical, economic, and security juggernaut, and has emerged as a critical stage where convergence and divergence intertwine with its influential economies, densely populated nations, crucial land, sea lanes, and unresolved maritime disputes. This region stands at the forefront of global strategic significance as the United States, China, India, Russia, Australia, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, and Singapore compete for regional influence. A complex web of geopolitics, economics, commerce, security, and technology shapes the future of the Indo-Pacific region. Like economic inequality, climate change, cybersecurity, transboundary terrorism, nuclear programs, territorial disputes, and the rise of power rise of powers demand immediate attention to ensure peace, stability, and security. Like as a whole, like Indo-Pacific region is at a crossroads that will impact on the region in the entire world. And like Republican candidate Mr. Vivek Ganapati Ramaswamy is from a Republican party contesting for 2024 election, and his party, Republican Party, has a various views on state rights, limited government regulation, opposition to affirmative action, social issues, and foreign policy. Like his main domestic policy is zeroed on social issues, and foreign policy like mainly traditionally that supports a strong national defense and the aggressive pursuit of US national security interests, even if it means actually unilaterally or against the views of international community at the necessity of the times. And and that brings us to the Vivek Ganapati Ramaswamy. Is an American entrepreneur, and he is a second generation of a migrant Indo-American and other political outsider with a unique perspective on American politics. He is the founder and former CEO of Roivant Sciences, a biopharmaceutical company. He is a self-described anti-woke conservative, also the author of the books Woke Incorporated in Inside Corporate America's Social Justice Scam, and Nation of Victims, Identity Politics, The Death of Merit, and the Path Back to Excellence, and Capitalist Punishment, How Wall Street is Using Your Money to Create a country that you didn't vote for. Like it's the base of the personal life of Vivek Ramaswamy. He's a political outsider with no prior experience in government. However, he's a wealthy and successful businessman, and he has a large following among the young conservatives. He announced his candidacy for the Republican presidential nomination in 2023 February. He has also criticized the Democratic Party for its focus on identity politics and an embrace of socialism. His candidacy for the Republican presidential nomination in 2024 has generated a great deal of interest, and he is seen as a potential dark horse candidate. He has criticized Republican Party for its focus on social issues such as abortion and gun control at the expense of economic issues and national security. He has argued the Republican Party needs return to its roots as a party of fiscal responsibility and limited government. He has also called for a stronger stance on national security, including increasing military spending and more aggressive approach to China and its actions of around global security initiative. His candidacy has been met with a mixed reaction. Some see him as a refreshing new voice in American politics, while others dismiss him as a fringe candidate. However, there is no doubt he is a force to reckon with. His campaign is sure to keep us all talking. Like coming to his policy perspective, like Vivek's foreign policy approach embraces strategic ambiguity, a firm stance, and pragmatic principles to navigate the complex landscapes of the region. His perspective challenges traditional notions, demanding careful consideration as the United States and its allies confront the diverse challenges of the Indo-Pacific. By emphasizing national security, the preservation of American values, and a shift away from the interventionism Vivek's proposed a kind of a modern Monroe Doctrine charts a bold path in American foreign policy, with its focus on defense, investment, modernization, and diplomacy. His approach aims to replace military force with softer power, reshaping the historical role of United States on the global stage. like he started his presidential perspective and in campaigns with its US exit from the Afghanistan, like he stated a big blow to the US exceptionalism and the Indo-Pacific security interest. Like the 2008 subprime mortgage crisis served a turning point, signaling the end of unipolar era and the rise of multipolar world. Major powers like India, China, Russia, and Japan, along with middle powers such as Australia, Indonesia, South Korea, and Vietnam, have emerged, reshaping the global geopolitical landscape. In this dynamic environment, the United States, under the Trump's America First foreign policy, faced a scrutiny for shifting its priorities towards domestic concerns and raising questions about its commitment to global leadership. However, the recent US withdrawal from Afghanistan in August 2021 amplified the growing concerns surrounding American leadership and implications for Indo-Pacific security interests. The departure highlighted a failure in maintaining American primacy and the commitment to long and advocate for a democracy and human rights. As Biden administration tries to develop its strategic approach to Indo-Pacific region, the repercussions of the Afghanistan withdrawal continue to reverberate. The US new focus on forming alliances and deterring Chinese aggression has simultaneously eroded the trust in American security guarantees. This apprehension raises significant security questions about the United States' ability to build alliances in the region, hindering its efforts to counterbalance Chinese influence. Moreover, the withdrawal has inadvertently strengthened the bond between Russia and China, as both countries view the US exit as an opportunity to expand their influence. While Russia seeks to capitalize on the power vacuum and establish network alliances, it faces challenges in convincing regional countries of its benign intentions. On the other hand, China continues to exert its economic military presence to initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative, setting territorial claims in the East and South China Sea. The delayed unveiling of Biden administration's Indo-Pacific policy further reflects a perceived lack of U.S. concern for the region. The United States' apparently incapacity to curb China's aggression actions and its implications for the regional stability will undoubtedly shape U.S. Foreign policy in the years to come. Therefore, our research aims to delve into complex aftermath of US exit from Afghanistan, challenging previous actions and building upon existing knowledge. Like the Sino-Russ nexus after the 2008 subprime mortgage crisis marked a significant shift in a global political, economic, and military landscape. And later, Trump's America First policy, retreated from the U.S. global leadership, prioritizing U.S. interests over those of its allies. Like U.S. departure from Afghanistan in August 2021 is seen as a failure of American leadership primacy, an indication of U.S. is no longer geared up to commitment to long-term military operations, leading the global affairs and with its allies supporting democracy and human rights. This has further harmed the U.S. reputation as a trusted security partner, as many countries in the region are becoming more concerned about whether the U.S. can be relied on to defend them. The world is now multipolar, with India, China, Russia, and Japan emerging as major powers. Indonesia, South Korea, and Vietnam as middle powers. Bangladesh, Philippines, Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar as small powers. The withdrawal from Afghanistan has strengthened Russo-China bond, as both countries have been critical of the U.S. Withdrawal and see it as an opportunity to expand their influence in the region. Russia has been a particular active in Indo-Pacific region, seeking new partners and allies to balance China's influence. The decline of the US power in the region has created a power vacuum that Russia is eager to fill, including access to energy resources, markets, and shipping routes. China is also expanding its economic investments, military buildup, diplomacy, and soft power presence in the region through the Belt and Road Initiative, Global Security Initiative, and making claims to disputed territories in the East and South China Seas. The Biden administration lack of concern about the Indo-Pacific region and its inability to prevent China from aggressive actions in the area will continue to affect U.S. foreign policy in the region for many years to come. The Sino-Russ relationship has grown stronger in recent years, especially since the depart of US-led NATO forces from Afghanistan in August 2021. This is due to shared concerns and about US dominance and influence, as Russia and China see the US as a significant threat to their interests. Both nations have a long history of distrust and antagonism with each other, as well as the United States and the West. They are skeptical of US involvement in other countries as concerned about NATO's expansion towards Russia and the Pacific expansion encircling China. Russia and China are key commercial partners seeking to strengthen their economic connections with Russia. Trade volume with China reaching around 146.9 billion US dollars in 2021. The military cooperation has grown, including joint drills and arms sales, strengthening their ability to repel threats from the US and other countries. In 2022, Russia and China held a coordinated naval drill in the Sea of Japan as shows of force against the US. The growth of Russia-China ties poses a significant threat to the US, as it long seen China as its primary strategic rivalry in the Indo-Pacific area. To address these challenges, US must take steps in increasing its military presence in the IPR, strengthening alliances with regional countries, engaging in more diplomacy with China, and promoting democracy and human rights in the region. The future Indo-Pacific region and the global order will be determined by how the US and its allies respond to the issues in Indo-Pacific region. The Russia-China relationship is a grave risk to the West perception of rules-based international order, as both nations have a history of violating international law, and their territories claimed have grown increasingly threatened. Concerns about US ability to respond to China's assertiveness have weakened its commitment to international Indo-Pacific region, making it difficult for the US to form coalitions and combat the Chinese aggressive nature. To deter Chinese aggression, a renowned focus, a larger military presence, and engagement with the allies are essential. The Biden administration failed to adopt a comprehensive plan, but it must now demonstrate its commitment to region security and reliability as a partner by executing one policy. With nearly 375,000 troops stationed in the Indo-Pacific area, the US maintains a robust military presence. China's military rapidly upgrading, and the US and China are engaging in a trade war that could potentially escalate into a military clash. The US must exercise caution in its approach to the Indo-Pacific Balancing Act, considering strategic ambiguity, diplomacy, and economic cooperation. Deepening ties with regional allies, sub-regional partners would provide a stronger support base, making it harder for China to oppose US interests. The United States must consider both advantages and disadvantages while dealing with China. As a diplomacy, it's still essential for peaceful resolutions. The US cannot afford to go alone in dealing with China and must collaborate with regional partners to formulate a coordinated approach. Economic engagement is crucial for maintaining regional stability and preventing China from becoming a renegade state. The US should prepare deploy economic penalties to dissuade Chinese aggression. A long-term plan for dealing with China should be based on deterrence, diplomacy, and economic involvement. The US also have to be prepared to modify its strategies for Indo-Pacific region as it evolves. Like on China, considering China may be considered about the US military buildup in the Indo-Pacific region, which it pursues a threat to its security. Stopping its development would be a significant depend on China. Recognizing China's territorial claims in South China Sea would be a significant compromise. Reducing or lifting sanctions on China would be a gesture of goodwill that could help repair its ties between the two nations. Cooperation on climate change and nuclear proliferation is also important, as it would develop confidence and lessen tension between the two countries. The United States and the Indo-Pacific is a new normal, is causing a significant change in political, economic, security, marine, and trade spheres. The United States has been the dominant force for decades, but its dominance is being challenged by China's expanding geopolitical, economic, maritime, and military prowess. The balance of power and influence in the region is strained due to rising battle between the US and China for regional influence, primarily through the Belt and Road Initiative, Global Security Initiative, against the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment (PGII) initiative of G7. This competition is manifesting in various sectors, including commerce, investment, and security, where the US and China are increasingly at odds over the East and South China Seas, which is a crucial shipping corridor and a potential source of oil, gas, minerals, trading, etc. This disagreement has the potential to escalate into fight to maintain its military supremacy in the Indo-Pacific region. The US must prioritize bolstering its military forces through diplomacy and soft power, as well as assisting in formation of strengthening military allies with regional and sub-regional partners. Fighting China's growing economic and political might in the region should be a priority, as it possesses a significant threat to the country's interests and influence. Prudence and its real actions are required to prevent any escalation of hostilities in the South China Sea. To prevent its influence in Indo-Pacific region, the US must be ready to invest and take risks. The long-term future of the region and worldwide may be determined how the US should respond to the new normal. Like coming to the Taiwan's strategic importance to the United States is well known. As it is home to the world's largest semiconductor manufacturers, China has been increasingly aggressive in its claims to Taiwan. And there is a growing concern that Beijing may one day seek to conquer the island by force. Vivek's proposal to protect Taiwan unless the US achieves the semiconductor independence is both daring and controversial. He believes that the US should not held hostage by its reliance on Taiwan for semiconductors and should use military force to stop Beijing from invading Taiwan, but also prepared to withdraw assistance if China is ready to wait until the US achieves the semiconductor independence. Vivek proposal has elicited a range of responses, with some analysts feeling it is a solid approach that would allow the United States to achieve its objectives without risking a costly conflict with China. While others worry that it is too hazardous, sending a message to China that the US is prepared to forsake Taiwan. He urged a strategic ambiguity policy to Taiwan, which means that the US would not officially commit to support Taiwan in the case of Chinese invasion, but would also not rule out a military action. This would might discourage China from conquering Taiwan, as it may be less willing to take a risk in a military battle. However, strategic uncertainty can also make it more difficult for the US to protect Taiwan in the event of an attack. If China knows the US is not committed to defend Taiwan, it may surprise Taiwan and overwhelm the US military before it can act, potentially harming the US reputation in the area. The choice to embrace his strategy is a political choice that would be decided by the US administration and the Congress. The Indo-Pacific region demands of building a deterrence and diplomacy network where the US has a strong military presence in the Indo-Pacific region, but Vivek suggests expanding to signal its seriousness in preserving its interests. The US should enhance its military involvement by sending more aircraft and naval vessels, fortifying connections with regional allies like Japan, India, Australia, and strengthening military cooperation with these countries. However, there are risks involved, as China may interpret this as a provocation and retaliate by bolstering its military posture in the region. The strengthened allies in the Indo-Pacific region, the US should strengthen military cooperation and offer great financial and economic support to these countries. Forging deeper partnership with regional allies could also help to develop trust and understanding between the US and these countries, making it harder for China to split the US and its allies.
I'm sorry.
Maintaining
I'm sorry to interrupt, sir, but we are falling short of time. So please, can you sum it
Yes,
all up? Yeah.
Mary,
Thank you so much.
can you give 5 minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Maintaining diplomatic and economic relations with China would foster trust and understanding, lowering of the conflict. The complex relationship between the US and China is complicated, but the US can use its economic clout to persuade China to collaborate on mutual concerns like climate change, nuclear proliferation. Maintaining diplomatic relations would help resolve disagreement and avoid conflict. The US should make it clear to China that is willing to use force to preserve its interest in the Indo-Pacific area if required. Deterring China's hostile behavior, however, caution should be
One
exercised.
more time explain, sir, please.
Regarding on China, on Russia, Russian invasion of Ukraine has highlighted the post-Cold War system weaknesses and the possibility of new Cold War and related crisis. Vivek has proposed a U.S. foreign policy, he suggested a tough but pragmatic approach to Russia, and he is open to dealing with Russia if Putin make consensus, like a freezing the current lines of control in Ukraine and pledging not to admit Ukraine to NATO would be a significant concession to Russia, but also aid in de-escalation and avert further violence. And despite criticism from foreign policy experts, like Vivek believes his strategy is a most effective method to safeguard US interests and discourage Russian aggression, specifically in the Eastern Europe. And the Indo-Pacific Balancing Act is a complex issue that requires a thorough study of both the United States and China's goals and objectives. Like the US can continue to employ its strategic ambiguity strategy, which serves the country well for many years, but it is now being questioned. A combination of strategic ambiguity and firmness may be an ideal strategy to maintain the Indo-Pacific Balancing Act. China's rise is a defining geopolitical issue, and countries are concerned about its intentions. However, it is assumed that Beijing-Moscow axis is not a threat to democratic and like-minded states in the field of Indo-Pacific region. China has a long history of peaceful growth and a civilization state that has a values for harmony and collaboration in its history, and several issues must be addressed to ensure that China rise is a peaceful and beneficial to everyone, where cooperation with China is necessary to build a stable and successful Indo-Pacific region. We must find ways to collaborate on common issues, concerned and transparent about beliefs and objectives. The US, Russia, China, and Taiwan play is not a zero-sum game, but both China and the United States has the ability to prosper, encouraging a new era of cooperation between the two countries can lead to a secure, vibrant Indo-Pacific region. Where this research provides a comprehensive understanding of the Indo-Pacific region geopolitical landscape and its implications on global scale. This analysis aims to examine convergence and divergence within the region, the competition among the major powers, and the need for strategic approach. By delving into complexities of Indo-Pacific region, the analysis seeks to shed light on challenges and opportunities that arise from the region's evolving dynamics. The literature on the Indo-Pacific region highlights its significance as a geopolitical and security juggernaut. It emphasizes presence of major countries, and despite the existing literature on the Indo-Pacific region, there are still gaps that need to be addressed. One such gap is a lack of comprehensive analysis that integrates all the dimensions of multiple dimensions of competition and convergence within the region. While individual study may focus on specific aspects, there is a need for a holistic understanding of the Indo-Pacific geopolitical landscape. Additionally, there is a depth of research that explores the implications of China's expanding influence and challenges to United States dominance in the region and its allies and its partners. These gaps in the literature highlight the need for a comprehensive analysis that fills the knowledge gaps. And and the paper analyzes the Indo-Pacific region about the competition among major powers, particularly the United States and China, is intensifying. China's expansion, influence, and assertive challenges is long-standing and dominance of the United States in the region. And secondly, Indo-Pacific is witnessing a convergence of interest and a divergence of strategies among the major powers. Like it addresses the several questions. First, it explores the convergence and divergence within the Indo-Pacific regions, where it indicates the there are shared interests and the cooperation among the countries. There are also divergent strategies and approaches, particularly between the United States and China. And it examines the competition that has implications for regional stability, economic growth, and security dynamics. Lastly, the analysis investigates a need for a strategic approach in the Indo-Pacific region by zeroing on complexities and uncertainties of the region, evolving geopolitical landscape. This strategic approach should consider the interests and concerns, and where it intensifies the competition between United States and China, implications for global power dynamics and the shift of balance of power. And the main arguments of the research piece is like a strategic importance of the area, and US-China engagement, and United States need to adopt a balanced approach in dealing with China in the Indo-Pacific region, where it is important to deter Chinese aggression and protect American interests is also crucial to maintain diplomatic channels and engage in economic cooperation. And overall, it highlights the complex geopolitical landscape of the Indo-Pacific region and challenges faced by the United States in maintaining influence and countering China's stability. Maintaining influence and countering China's rise, it emphasizes the importance of balanced and coordinated approach to ensure regional stability and protect American interests, while while provides insights into the challenges and potential strategies for the United States to maintain its influence and navigate the competition with China's and Sino-Russian alliances. Like here, I raise my voice. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for presenting your paper. I firmly believe the audience must have understood the complex intricacies which are involved in the Indo-Pacific region. We do have a question from the audience. How will this Indo-Pacific Balancing Act of Vivek impact India's strategic posture in the region?
Like Vivek's presidential perspective, from the Indian perspective, like it will be a positive thing, and it has a negative aspect also. Like countering China, concerning Quad is a important thing. Like individually, like India and China, for example, or for Russia and China, like they're deliberately sidelining the security issues. Like as a whole, we the nations have an idea of need to contain China, but it to be limited in the sense.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now the floor is open for questions. If anyone from our audience is interested, please feel free to ask. We can start with Mr. Amay Walangi. Please, sir, if you have any question, you can ask to the author.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Amay Velangi. I'm a fellow researcher at Chanakya University, Bengaluru.
Okay.
Meanwhile, we can have question from continuous learner. Please, if you have any question to sir, feel free to ask.
So the thing is that in China and India are neighbors. US and India are not neighbors. So China, US can play countering China for its strategic influence because they don't share a border with each other. But if there's a saying, there's an African saying that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. So African Union, there's an African Union for Africa. There's a Mercosur for South America. There's a European Union for Europe. But why Asia does not have a common? ASEAN is just a few states, but Asia as a whole must have a grouping. What do you think about that?
Like there is a one research paper like which was written by Lai, L-A-I, his author. Like in his paper, he stated like Western people, like a Western society has a idea of linear understanding, like how they look the context, like where Asians and Africans take a look about a relational thing, like where they relate to everything, like in a possibilities that can encounter in while traveling in that. Like for example, if you take Chinese philosophy, like there is a strict philosophy, I think by Tao, where he says in his text, like the China, in context, like present context, it's China. China should not have a like a partnership. Like they cannot maintain partnership, but they can maintain allies or friends. Sorry, they can maintain only friends. Like if you tactically take consideration into that thing, like for example, if European Union falls, like for example political or economically or like whatever it may be, like every nation faces the same thing. Like if for example Belt and Road Initiative falls, like mainly the main burden has taken only by the China. Like the participant countries will bear only the minimal cost. Like if you take for the African Union is also very much par with the Asian ideology, like how they relate to everything. Like for example, there are so many activists, like they want African Union, like they want to be they have, like African Union has to take a middle path where they should not sideline with Western thing and like Russian interest. Like it mainly focuses on like if there are no partnerships like as larger like a European Union, like it can has a more focused objectives to take further. Like I hope I answered your question.
Just a rejoinder to that. It is the age of the United Nations. It is not the pre First World War or Second World War age. So we are the nations can be competitors but not enemies. So there's a Aman Ki Asha. There's a group also like that. I am from a UNESCO Institute of Cooperation. I am an UNESCO Institute of Cooperation alumnus. So United Nations Charter, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Most politicians are acting as if these things did not happen or do not exist. So what is why can't we all get along? That is my question.
Like if you read China's Arctic policy, like or if you read China's there is a Chinese author, I forgot I didn't remember the name of the author, but there is a paper titled Relational Theory of World Politics, where it highlights and like on China, on China, the book on China, and other book written by Henry Kissinger, The World Order. Like these materials states that there will be a differences between the states, and there will be a shared common goals and objectives between the nations. Like United Nations is a place where they want to formulate like a common agenda. Like like nowadays, for example, if you listen to the for India's Foreign Minister, Mr. Jaishankar, like we need to focus on the structured way. Like it should not the what do you say, the differences should overcome the like we need to have a positive outcomes. Am I answered your
Okay.
question?
Okay, thank you. But there's something called Shashi Tharoor has said multi-alignment instead of non-alignment. We were non-aligned and we were the leaders of non-aligned. Now we are getting involved in power politics of blocks. This is not good for the world, not good for India. So that is my view. Thank you for answering my questions.
Okay.
And your question states that like we should not have a multi-aligned, but for example, if you take the Belt and Road Initiative as an example, like China has strategically growing its influence based on the regions. Like they are not mixing all the regions together. For example, if you take the US military presence and US economic interest and US political influence, these three have a multi objectives. For example, you can see the Richard Nixon's Vietnamization. Like it clearly shows their failure in all three terms. Like compared to like a Belt and Road Initiative, like for example, today like Middle East is in a crisis. Like and like China wants to expand its influence in Latin America, but multilateralism is much more needed.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you, sir.
please answer the other questions of the other persons. I don't want to take your time.
Yeah, thank you, Amit. I'm sorry, but due to shortage of time, we will not be able to entertain any more questions. You can get directly in touch with sir. We will share the email ID of sir so that you can directly mail him and get in touch with him. So thank you once again, sir, for being here today and presenting such a wonderful and thought-provoking paper. I would also like to take this opportunity to express our thanks and gratitude to everyone present in the audience for sparing their precious time. The author's research paper will be mailed to you along with the recording of this forum and his mail ID. Do subscribe to our website, and this webinar is presented to you by the Viyug, an online international affairs magazine based in India. Thank you all, and let's join us once again for another live forum, the details of which will be out soon. Thank you once again, and sorry for everyone whose questions could not be answered. Thank you, sir, and thank you everyone to once again.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.